Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Vidura talks with Maitreya. Text number 42. So Maitreya Muni is explaining to Vidurji the prayers by demigods. Yadrichadya Shudvatya cha Bhaktya Sambrijyamane Hridaya Vadhaya Jnanena Vairagya Bale Dhira Vrajim Tatte Anghri Saroj Peetham. Simply by hearing about your lotus feet with eagerness and devotion, and by meditating upon them within the heart, one at once becomes enlightened with knowledge, and on the strength of detachment, one becomes pacified. We must therefore take shelter of the sanctuary of the lotus feet. So these are the prayers by demigods. They are saying, Krishna, by just hearing about your lotus feet and taking shelter of them, one gets knowledge, one gets detachment, one becomes pacified. So even they want to take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. The miracles of meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord with eagerness and devotion are so great that no other process can compare to it. The minds of materialistic persons are so disturbed that it's almost impossible for them to search after the supreme truth by personal, regulative endeavors. But even such materialistic men with a little eagerness for hearing about the transcendental name, fame, qualities, etc., can surpass all other methods of attaining knowledge and detachment. So minds of materialistic persons are so disturbed that it's almost impossible for them to search after the supreme truth. Forget about the supreme truth. They don't even want to know anything about truth. They're so busy in their schemes of eating, drinking, and be merry. That's all their life is all about. But it's impossible for them to. But if they just hear properly somehow, then they can get attached. Because ultimately soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Body doesn't matter. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So this is something soul is eager for. But ignorance, the andhakar, the covering is so strong that soul cannot express its innermost desire. The conditioned soul is attached to the bodily conception of the self, and therefore he is in ignorance. Culture of self-knowledge can bring about detachment from material affection, and without such detachment, there is no meaning to knowledge. The most stubborn attachment for material enjoyment is sex life. One who is attached to sex life is to be understood as devoid of knowledge. Knowledge must be followed by detachment. That is the way of self-realization. These two essentials for self-realization, knowledge and detachment, become manifest very quickly if one performs devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So knowledge and detachment, Gyan and Vairagya, they follow bhakti actually. Real Gyan and real Vairagya. Vairagya doesn't mean just giving up the material world. Vairagya actually means getting attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. Then automatically one gives up the material world. One gives up the taste even to enjoy the material world. One has to do his service, that's a different story, but the taste is gone. These two essentials for self-realization, knowledge and detachment, becomes manifest very quickly if one performs devotion service to the lotus feet of the Lord. So very quickly, but not that quickly, that is relative term actually. It can And also it depends upon the sincerity, the seriousness of devotion service one is performing. But it will definitely happen. That's for sure. Sooner or later, it will happen. The word dhira is very significant in this connection. A person who is not disturbed, even in the presence of a cause of disturbance, is called dhira. Sri Yamunacharya says, since my heart has been overwhelmed by the devotion service of Lord Krishna, I cannot even think of sex life, and if thoughts of sex come upon me, I at once feel disgust. A devotee of the Lord becomes an elevated dhira by the simple process of meditating in eagerness on the lotus feet of the Lord. So Prabhupada is quoting here Sri Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya was a big king, actually. And as a king, he had to indulge in all sorts of materialistic activities. And somehow, by the mercy of his guru, he became a devotee. And then he wrote this shloka. Prabhupada just quoted some part of that shloka, half of that shloka. And in that shloka, he says, now since my heart has been overwhelmed by devotion service to Krishna, I cannot even think of sex life, and thoughts of sex life come upon me as at once I feel disgust. But that's the level of Yamunacharya. He was a great saint. In in this Shri Vaishnava tradition, he was a great saint, very great saint. So this detachment will slowly, definitely will happen. It's not that one has to practice for it, one has to run after it, one has to, as I say, one has to artificially prove it or show it. It's not a matter of show to anybody how much one is making progress in bhakti. It's all, bhakti is what? Bhakti is our connection with Krishna. Bhakti is a surrender to Krishna, not to the fellow devotees or to family members or in the class. We don't have to show it. We don't have to pretend whatever we are not. That is bhakti. Bhakti is our relationship with Krishna. How much we love him, and nobody can judge it. Nobody can. How much love we have for him, how much faith, how much trust we have in Krishna. Only we know. So that's why we don't have to show it to anybody or compare to anybody. Everybody is on its own path, on its own progress, at its own speed. Everybody is different. So all Krishna is expecting us to do, and all Srila Prabhupada is expecting us to do, is to encourage each other, inspire each other, motivate each other. And when we motivate others, we ourselves get motivated. When we encourage others, we ourselves get encouraged to perform more and more and more and more. That's all. Otherwise, the progress is internal. And that's why in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse, it says, Antar Nishtha Bahir Lok Vyavhar. Outside, you just deal with the society as you want to, very nicely. But Nishtha is inside. Nishtha, or surrender to Krishna, is inside. That's what we have to more worry about, actually. Devotional service entails being initiated by a bona fide spiritual master and following his instructions in regard to hearing about the Lord. Such a bona fide spiritual master is accepted by regularly hearing from him about the Lord. The improvement in knowledge and detachment can be perceived by devotees as an actual experience. See, The improvement in knowledge and detachment can be perceived by devotees as an actual experience. So experience is a person's experience, not the others will experience my knowledge and detachment and bhakti. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu strongly recommended this process of hearing from a bona fide devotee, and by following this process one can achieve the highest result, conquering all other methods. So hearing is the process actually recommended. Of course, not just hearing. Besides hearing, serve together and association, very important. But hearing is most important. That's the basis of our bhakti. Text 43. Vishwasya janma sthiti sanyamarthe kritaavatarasya padambujam te brajema sarve sharanam yadisha smritam prayachati abhayam sapunsa. O Lord, you assume incarnations for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. And therefore we all take shelter of your lotus feet, because they always award remembrance and courage to your devotees. For the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestations, there are three incarnations: Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, Lord Shiva. So there are three incarnations. So they are the incarnations actually, but differently. They are called Guna Avatar, means avatar for the three modes of material nature. They are the controllers or masters of the three modes of material nature which cause the phenomenal manifestation. Vishnu is a master of the mode of goodness, Brahma is a master of mode of passion, and Maheshwara is the master of the mode of ignorance. There are different kinds of devotees according to the modes of nature. Persons in the mode of goodness worship Lord Vishnu. Those in the mode of passion worship Lord Brahma. And those in the mode of ignorance worship Lord Shiva. Well, because Brahmaji is in charge of creation, so he is considered in the mode of passion. And Shivji is in charge of destruction. But the knowledge and strength and the inspiration for Brahmaji to do creation and for Shivji to do destruction comes from Vishnu only. Now, here Prabhupada said those in the mode of worship, mode of ignorance worship Lord Shiva, but also people in the mode of passion, they also worship Lord Shiva because they want some money and some beautiful partner of opposite sex. So they all worship Lord Shiva. But the real person who's in charge of mode of passion is Brahmaji actually. All three of these deities are incarnations of the Supreme Lord Krishna because he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demigods directly refer to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and not to the different incarnations. The incarnation of Vishnu in the material world is, however, directly worshipped by the demigods. It is learned from various scriptures that the demigods approach Lord Vishnu in the ocean of milk and submit their grievances whenever there is some difficulty in the administration of universal affairs. Although they are incarnations of the Lord, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva worship Lord Vishnu, and thus they are also counted amongst the demigods and not as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, here Prabhupada said they are incarnations of the Lord, but they are, for Brahmaji, so Brahmaji is a position, and it is mentioned that when some very, very pious living entity can only be eligible to take to the position of Brahmaji, and when such a living entity is not present, so sometimes it can happen because there are unlimited number of material universes. So if that kind of living entity is not there, then Vishnu himself takes the position of Brahmaji for that universe. So whether Vishnu has taken that position or some living entity has been upgraded, if that's the right word, for the position of Brahmaji. Here, Prabhupada is saying they are incarnation of the Lord. So, living entity is not an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, but at least, actually, he has been given powers by the Supreme Lord to act as Brahmaji, to do the service of Brahmaji. And Lord Shiva, how is his incarnation? So, we have to understand Shivji is not Krishna, or Shivji is not Vishnu. When Mahavishnu glances over the material universes, and from his body all the unlimited souls come and they enter the given universe. So that glance, the personification of that glance, actually everything is person in the spiritual world. Even the glance is a person. So the personal form of that glance is Sadashiv. And Sadashiv brings all the souls into the material universes, different material universes, through the womb of Durgaji. So Sadashiv, then he expands himself and enters each and every universe as Shiva, as Lord Shiva. Just like Lord Vishnu enters each and every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He expands himself and enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Sadashiv also expands himself and enters into every universe as Lord Shiva. So Sadashiv is personification of the glance of Lord Vishnu. But because he comes in contact with the material nature, especially the mode of ignorance, because he brings all these jivas through the womb of, or through the yoni of Durgaji. So he doesn't come under the mode of ignorance. He just comes in contact with mode of ignorance. So Brahma Samhita is explained just like milk is transformed into dahi, into yogurt, when it comes in contact with the culture. So similarly, Mahavishnu's glance comes in contact with material mode of ignorance, becomes Sadashiv. Sadashiv cannot turn around and become Lord Vishnu, because just like dahi cannot become milk again. So there is difference between Vishnu and Sadashiv, and at the same time there is no difference. So there we can say milk and dahi are same and the different at the same time. So that's how it's explained in Brahma Samhita. So Lord Shiva is, yes, is an incarnation, we can say, understand that way. So the purpose of Lord Shiva or Sadashiv, and then Sadashiv expands into Lord Shiva in every universe, is manifold actually. One is destruction, but Lord Shiva doesn't always do destruction. He is the greatest Vaishnava, Param Vaishnava. He's a Mahajan. So he also has a Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is called Rudra Sampradaya. And at the request or at the order of Krishna, he comes as Shankaracharya also. So he starts a Mayavadi Sampradaya as well. So this is position of Lord Shiva. For the service of Krishna, he does so many things, wonderful activities, wonderful services. So that's why he is also considered incarnation of the Lord. But because he acts as a devata also, as a demigod, so they are counted amongst the demigods, Brahmaji and Shivji. Persons who worship Lord Vishnu are called demigods, and persons who do not do so are called asuras or demons. Vishnu always takes the part of the demigods, but Brahma and Shiva sometimes takes the side of the demigod. But Brahma and Shiva sometimes take the side of the demons. It's not that they become one in interest with them, but sometimes they do something in order to gain control over the demons. And also sometimes it helps in the pastimes of Vishnu, because Brahmaji and Shivji gives different benedictions to the demons, and the demons become powerful, and the demons do all sorts of nonsense activities all over the universe. And Vishnu ji says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata. So he has to come at that time. So whatever Brahmaji and Shivji does, actually it helps in the pastimes of the Lord. So in that way, they are all servants of God. They are all devotees of the Lord. Text 44. Yatsanubandhe asati dehage mamaham iti urduragrihanam punsam suduram vasato api puryam bhajim tatte bhagwan padabjam. O Lord, persons who are entangled by undesirable eagerness for the temporary body and kinsman, and who are bound by the thoughts of mine and I, are unable to see your lotus feet. Although your lotus feet are situated within their own bodies, well, let us take shelter of your lotus feet. So this is demigods. They are praying to the Lord at the beginning of the creation. They're so much devoted to the Lord, so much surrendered to the Lord. The whole Vedic philosophy of life is that one should get rid of the material encagement of gross and subtle bodies, which only cause one to continue in a condemned life of miseries. This material body continues as long as one is not detached from the false conception of lording it over material nature. The impetus for lording it over material nature is a sense of mine and I. So the impetus for lording it over material nature is what? I, me, and mine, actually. That's what gives us the reason to perform some activities. It's for me. It's for my pleasure. It's for my family. My family is for my pleasure. If in a family a father is there and he is making money and he's enjoying, and he has some sons, and one of the son becomes a rebellion and he leaves the house, but father obviously he will not like it, but his work and his idea of sense gratification doesn't go down. Yeah, actually, this is how the material world is. It's very selfish. So in simple terms, for us to remember the material world is actually that ICICI Bank. So that bank, ICICI, if you look at that name, so IC means I look at what? I see. Again, he stressfully see what? I. So that's all he sees, and that is the material world. Actually, I told that to a manager of ICICI Bank, and he didn't like it. But anyway, he got the message. So I am the Lord of all that I survey. So many things I possess, and I shall possess more and more. This we studied in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Who can be richer than I in wealth and education? I am the master and I am God. Balwan aham, siddho aham sukhi. Who else is there but me? All these ideas reflect the philosophy of aham mama, the conception that I am everything. Persons conducted by such a conception of life can never get liberation from material bondage. But even a person perpetually condemned to the miseries of material existence can get relief from bondage if he simply agrees to hear only Krishna Katha. How powerful Krishna Katha is. In this age of Kali, the process of hearing Krishna Katha is a most effective means to gain release from unwanted family affection and thus find permanent freedom in life. The age of Kali is full of sinful reactions, and people are more and more addicted to the qualities of this age. But simply by hearing and chanting of Krishna Katha, one is sure to go back to Godhead. Therefore, people should be trained to hear only Krishna Katha by all means in order to get relief from all miseries. So this is the potency of Krishna Katha. So people should be trained to hear only Krishna Katha, and also people should be trained to speak Krishna Katha as well. But the speaking part comes by mercy of Krishna. Speaking part comes by mercy of Guru. So more we are eagerly serving Guru and Krishna, more mercy they give by which we can speak about them, and we can and then Krishna can make the hearts of the people in the audience receptive to the message given by his devotees. So it's all Krishna acting, but to the devotee is trying to serve Krishna by speaking Krishna Katha. The audience is trying to serve Krishna by hearing Krishna Katha. Now Krishna becomes obliged and he wants to serve his devotees by giving him more power, more knowledge, and more facilities to speak Krishna Katha. And he gives receptivity, the facility to the audience to hear Krishna Katha. So it's a wonderful arrangement by Krishna. Only thing what we have to have is a desire to speak and hear Krishna Katha. That's all. Krishna Katha doesn't mean only the pastimes of Krishna. Even when there is a description of the universe and the Mahat Tattva and all these philosophical and technical points, that's also Krishna Katha. Shukdev Goswami is speaking, Narad Muni, Ved Vyas, all the sages, Parikshit Maharaj, they all are sitting down and listening. So it's all Krishna Katha. We have to see it in relationship with Krishna. Then it becomes relishable. Oh, my Lord is so wonderful that just by his glance he can create all these things, Mahat Tattva and the false ego and the mind and the senses and this and that. He's so wonderful. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, very good explanation about ICCI.
ICICI.
ICI.
Yeah.
Yeah. The resemblance with the material world.
So that's all we see. I.
Prabhuji, thank you so much. Today's class, I could understand something. And I was very Prabhuji, you would not understand. 3 दिन से तो मैं ही परेशान थी कि क्या हो क्या रहा है. And I was like so busy at work. I was thinking that I'll go and ask Radha Prabhu if he can explain me. But unfortunately, I was not able to talk. So, but I'm glad कि आज का तो it was still, something थोड़ा समझ में आया मुझे. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Whatever Krishna wants. Okay. Thank you, Mata. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
Very good, sir.
Thank you very much.